Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And yeah, I know we're super late, but somehow, apparently, God was intervening for this one because I suddenly lost the ability to have Bluetooth on my fucking computer. It was working fine during Atheist Drinking Out Loud today. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, I took a little bit of a break before coming back on and hooking up to meet the lovely Kaitlyn here. And all of a sudden, I couldn't find even where the hell to turn it on, and I was searching fucking everything, trying to figure it out. Anyways, I'll deal with it later. So I'm hardwired in for the time being, so that we could at least get the show going. But it took me a little bit to find this because I'm an idiot and pack rat shit and stash it everywhere. But anyways, welcome to the show, Kaitlyn.
Hi, thank you. I like what V said in the chat. V said, "Oh, if we found God's something great as nightmare," and I'm like, "Oh, that's the nicest thing anyone has called me." Like, but
Randy's like, glad you could join us, Neil. Yeah, well, I do my best. Honestly, I do. But anyways, Caitlin, what I do here is I chat with folks about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they're once a part of.
Mhm,
And I generally ask folks to kind of take us back to the days of indoctrination and
mhm.
what that was like and how those dominoes started falling. And you find your way out of this, well, clearly horrifying belief systems, as most of them are, really. They have a lot of real shit stuff involved, but they
Oh
gloss it
yeah.
over with candy stuff, right? So
Mhm.
anyway,
Yeah, I mean, oh, where to even start? So that's the kicker. So,
long time
I
ago.
mean, I grew up. Um, I thought super religious, but like when I hear stories about super religious now, it's
You're
nowhere
like,
near that.
that
Um,
wasn't that bad.
yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, no, I grew up in a family where my uncle was the pastor of a church, and um I don't remember what age it was that I became a Christian, that I walked down the aisle, that whole story of you walk down the aisle. I was Southern Baptist.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't but my mom was a little more like, I guess liberal is the word in her like views. She didn't go completely like my stepdad. When she first met him, I wasn't allowed to wear a dress, or I wasn't allowed to wear a skirt to church. It had to be a dress.
Oh,
Like it was, and no flip
can't
flops. It
show
was
them knees.
very, it
Yeah.
was very, I don't know how to, conservative, I guess, and how I had to dress and things like that. But, um, so that happened. I accepted Christ and I was baptized. I was baptized the same day as like my brother and sister. It was a big thing. But after that, like, stuff happened in our family. I was 15, my brother was 17. He passed away in a car accident, and when
Hmm.
that happened, the whole my dad just kind of, wasn't, not the whole God thing, but just in general, like with life, you don't realize like how grief affects you. Um, so that happened, and then we just kind of quit. Eventually, like the church started like calling my parents names and stuff, and throughout the years, things just kind of
The
slowly started.
church was calling your parents' names.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Yeah, like so my mom
Oh,
was in
very
charge of
Christian.
yeah. My mom was in charge of a lot. And they accused us of like stealing money and stuff,
Oh
which
wow.
didn't happen, but whatever. So that took place. We just kind of like eventually quit going to church. But it wasn't like we deconverted. Like God was still very real, right? Like it
Right.
wasn't
Right.
like we didn't question anything. We just didn't like people. Like people are assholes. That's the problem.
Right.
So, um once that kind of happened, I got to be about 18, whenever I was working like two full-time jobs, and like I got to figure out how I'm going to like what to do with my life. And I swear like 10 years of my life is just a blur because oh gosh, that was the
That was the drinking game.
um but yeah, so that was my life, up until about 18. I didn't like in high school. I didn't even go to like football games. Like I didn't do the normal thing. And it wasn't because of church really. It was kind of more like the way my parents were raising us maybe, but um I love my parents to death and I think they did the best they can. Um but yeah, so that took place when I was in high school. When I graduated high school, went to East Texas Baptist University.
Oh,
Um
oh shit.
yeah, it was
Well,
like we couldn't.
hold on. What kind of courses do they offer there?
Well, like normal college courses, but every morning at 10 a.m. you have to go to chapel every morning. Like,
Uh,
and I failed because I didn't go to chapel. And it wasn't like I wasn't even like against the like God or the Bible or like anything, but I just that wasn't me. Like I would rather not go if I can sleep. Like that's just how I
yeah,
felt.
obviously.
Like but I only went there for a year. And then because I missed my family and like my sister had a lot going on in her life, and I'm the one who like fixes the family. Like when there's a problem, I've got to be there to like fix it and let's talk rationally and not yell at each other.
Hmm.
So um that was kind of where I landed. I came back home. And then I went to Texas Tech for a year and like fell out there. Like it was this whole thing. Like just throughout my life, I kept trying to figure out where I was gonna go. What did V say? I wasn't
I
listening.
wasn't allowed to sign up for courses one semester because I hadn't attended enough chapel. Yay, Christian
Oh
colleges.
gosh, yeah. And the amount of money that those Christian colleges like have you pay, like it's insane. But um so yeah, I ended up at Texas Tech. I left Texas Tech. I had a lot of emotional issues myself that I had to
Mm.
deal with too. I moved back home, and finally at one point I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to like do my own thing and figure out my own life, whatever." And this whole time for years, like I didn't even think about like is God real or not? I assumed he was because I've been raised that way,
Mm.
right? Like I I hate using the word indoctrinated, but like I was.
That's what
I
it is.
believed it. Yeah. And so, like you don't question those things. So I got
Right.
to a point to where I was like, well, I'm spiritual, but like I'm not religious because like I don't like rules. Like that's literally how I felt and how I explained it. And so I felt that way for years. And then in 2019, I met my boyfriend. Um, we met on Tinder, and I wouldn't have dated him if I would have known he was an atheist. Which like really makes me want to cry when I say that because it's true, but
Yeah.
it's so sad. Like if I would have known that, I wouldn't have. But it's also the best thing that's ever happened in my life because the ways that like I've learned to process things now. So
Hmm.
so I met him. Didn't know. I honestly I assumed he was a Christian because he knew so damn much about the Bible. Like that I
Atheists tend to.
assumed. Yeah. And I just assumed. So when I met him, we started dating, we started talking, and like we just had really real conversations. And like I'm an honest person. Like we'll talk about the Bible or God or whatever. And I wasn't like stuck in Christianity being true. I was just interested in what his take on was on things because at this point, right, I'm assuming he's a Christian, maybe just a different kind of Christian than what I was raised around.
Now, quick question: how much of the
Hmm.
Bible had you read?
Actually read
Yeah.
depended on the verses that they gave in church, like, not much.
So the
Like,
cherry pick stuff, basically.
oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny because I tell this story I actually how I actually got involved originally in the community the first time I decided I wanted to,
Mm.
I had called Talk Heathen and talked to Eric, and I
Nice.
told on that episode, I told him, like, I the re part of the reason I called and got so fired up is because I was laying in bed with my boyfriend, and he was joking about, like, "Let me count your ribs." And I was like, hold the fuck up. I am I allowed to cuss on here? Have I already cussed
Oh,
once?
fuck yeah! Don't worry about that.
Okay. Um, like, I was like, hold the fuck up. Like, I'm 30 years old and I just found out that there's not like men don't have one less rib than
That's
women.
right.
Is that really? Because I was told that. I texted my sister after and was like, we were told this, right? In Sunday school. And she's like, yeah, but it's bullshit. And I was like, oh, that's great. Thanks for that. But yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one lie after another, really, if you think about
Yeah. So not much. I hadn't actually read the Bible. And that's when I was like, okay, what the fuck else is in this Bible? And
it.
so I started reading it. And probably a few months before that even is when, because I had found out he was atheist. We were talking. I had already gone at this point to like atheist meetups with him because he did this like every Wednesday night in the Metroplex.
Okay.
And so I was like,
Sounds
okay,
like
yeah,
fun.
I'll go. Yeah, I was like, I'll go with you. And when I went, like, they were super nice to me. I did the whole I'm spiritual, not religious. And there was like one guy who was there who was like, hey, I'm atheist, but like my wife is like a, evangelical Christian and like all this stuff. And he's like, we're nice to people. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so then, like, one thing led to another, and I started, without my boyfriend, looking at listening to Talk Heathen, listening to like AXP, all of those shows. And like at that point, I was thinking, okay, I have to make sure if for some reason me and my boyfriend break up today, am I
Mhm.
still going to feel this? I don't want to be saying, hey, I'm an atheist because I wanna date this guy, right? I wanna know, like, that's a real decision to make, you know? So, like, and I saw one of the episodes that Matt had done where he said, like, you wanna make damn sure that you don't believe before you say you don't believe. And I was like, "That's a good point." So, like, I started listening to shows and watching Tracy,
Mhm.
watching everyone. I think I even reached out to Jenna Belk before I told my boyfriend about how I was feeling.
Mhm.
Um, and Jenna and I had a whole. She ended up having a whole Zoom conversation with me. Like she's great.
Excellent. Yeah, Jenna's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. And that was May of 2020, something like that. And then June is whenever I called and talked to Eric, and I think Rudy B was on.
Awesome.
Um, and which was a great experience getting to talk with them. But that happened, and then it was probably October or so of last year that I found Ethan and Jenna on their
Mhm. Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And the whole the mental health and death was the episode, one of the episodes that I watched. Of course, me having my brother pass away, seeing Ethan be so real and talking about that, and I had not found any content of anyone talking about how you deal with death after the fact, you know? Um, so when that happened, I eventually reached out to Ethan. Well, got really like kept being in his chat, like probably like a stalker. Sorry, Ethan. Kept being in his chat
He
and all
loves
of
the
that.
attention. It's okay.
um, but started doing all of that, and once I did, it was Ethan was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about call screening?" And I was like, "Oh, no, but like I'm down." And he was like, "Okay, cool. Join here." And now apparently I'm really good at it.
That's what I've
Cheers.
heard.
So I like to say I'm just really good at telling people what to do. Um, and be the asshole like behind the scenes, letting other people be assholes on the internet. Like that's my like that's what I do.
I kind of need
Um,
someone like that in my life to tell me what the hell to do. So I'm always walking around like I'm in a confused state. So
yeah, people are always like, you do so much. And I'm like, I mean, all I do is send a lot of messages and tell people that they need to do things. Like, I don't know. V is so nice.
V's amazing.
But so that's how I got here. I did realize at one point that I would have to change my name to not
Mhm.
have, I had my whole name at one point. I was like, don't think I want everyone knowing like my last name. And like the job I do, I'm a supervisor. So I'm like, people like my name is known in the company. So like customers will know my name. It's like, I don't really want them like equating my name with, um, like atheism and like writing
Mhm.
something into my job or something. Um, and actually, a customer one time told me like, "Oh, one day you're gonna meet your maker," and I'm like, "Okay," like, so I try to keep those things separate. And when I was doing that, I was like, oh, I know what I'm
Did,
gonna do.
didn't you already meet your maker or makers?
Right.
Right? You have parents, right?
Yeah, I know them
Yeah,
pretty well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have a good
Kind of what I figured.
relationship with them. Um, it's funny, I give my mom a hard time, because her and my dad split up when I was, like, 4.
Mhm.
Um, but they remain pretty good friends. So I joke with my mom
That's
all
good.
the time. I'm like, "Ugh, I couldn't even play you and my dad against each other because like I would call my dad to bitch about you and he wouldn't do anything. He would call you to see what was wrong. Like I couldn't play you guys against each other."
Damn it!
Which was really, really, really good parenting. Like my parents are amazing. All 4 of them. I love my family.
All 4 of them. Are you like me? You have biological folks too?
I have my mom and my stepdad and my dad and my stepmom. Although
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
I hate the word step,
Yeah, it's
because
just a technicality.
it's just a technicality, but I also try not to use it because I only use it whenever I'm like actually defining who they are.
Right.
Because like my dad is my
Like
dad
just now.
still, regardless. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Of
so
course.
yeah.
Of course, anyone that wants to step up and take care of a kid should be addressed as a parent, period.
Oh,
Right?
100%. And my dad and my daddy, that's how I separate who they are in my life. And my
Right.
dad and my daddy get along very, very well. To the point that like they make jokes with nurses in the hospital about how they're my dads. Like
My 2
like
dads.
and I mean we're in Texas, so people aren't as accepting as they should be. So,
No, people are stupid too. So there
mhm.
you go.
So,
I have 2 dads as well. Well, one of them's passed away. And my biological father is still alive, and my
mhm.
adoptive mom, or my mom that I grew up with, is still alive, and my biological mother passed away. So at least I
Mhm.
still have one of each.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I ever I mean, obviously, at some point, my parents aren't gonna live forever,
Right, of course,
but
of
that's
course.
gonna be a difficult thing for me for sure. Um, I'm super close to my family. Like, this is the one thing they probably don't know about, which is crazy because 'cause I'm on a live stream right now, but, like, um, my family doesn't know. I'm not technically out as an atheist, but
Okay.
I kind of have the same view of it as, like I heard Jim Barrows say it one time, like, I'm not out, but I'm not hiding. I mean, I don't owe anyone an explanation, and kind of the way I feel about it is like if for some reason someone finds out that like I'm an atheist and they get upset with me, that's a
Mhm.
them problem. That's not a Kaitlyn problem.
Oh, of course
Like
not. Of course not.
at that point, you're the one making this a problem, so like you should probably figure out why. Like,
Exactly. Oh, see, you're on it now so well, I don't even have to hit the hashtag coins.
uh-huh.
Oh, double whammy.
But yeah,
Oh,
oh my goodness, who is
you know
making
what
this
it is?
happen?
It's everyone's going freaking live on YouTube right now, so I get
Mm.
all those notifications because I'm subbed to like a bazillion people.
Oh yeah.
All these in the chat. Coins, coins, coins.
But yeah, so that's where that like that whole thing is. If you're on an atheist channel, like how'd you find me? You know?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, what were you
exactly.
looking for? The truth?
Yeah,
Like, cause
yeah.
me too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, hi,
so
Leah. Oh, geez. Settle down, people.
like, I have to pull up my backup drink if we keep this going.
This fucking B. B just texted me. There you go. One more. There you go. That one you can
Switch
thank B for.
drinks.
Tons of my stop calling Neil Ollie. This Ollie sends me messages sometimes too, just to get couple
Just to
extra
hear
coins in
it.
there. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess the only other thing that like is part of my mainly part of my deconversion is my baking thing. So like I
Mhm.
called it baking beyond. I'm like trying to figure out where the camera is.
It's all
Uh,
backwards.
I know. So I called it baking beyond because I've always loved to bake. Few years ago, I thought about starting a baking business and I was like, can't afford it. Like, I have too much going on, that kind of thing. Well, last year, my boyfriend was like, so why don't you just do it? And I was like, it's a good idea. Like, sure, let me just start it. I'll just do like things for friends. I was like, what would I call it? And I've always loved the infinity times infinity, like this symbol.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was like, well, baking beyond belief. Like, oh my gosh, people won't even know. So it's funny because like all of my friends and family are super supportive of me and like what I'm doing.
That's
And
great.
like,
That's
but
what you want.
they don't all know that like it's because it's beyond belief. Like I am Kaitlyn beyond belief. That's why I call myself Kaitlyn Beyond, you know?
Right.
Like so it's crazy because like people are super supportive, but also people probably wouldn't be 100% if they knew all of that.
Right. It's like you bring one day, you have to bring home a box full of cupcakes with little atheist symbols on them.
Right? Well, I can print them now. I have an edible printer.
There you go. That's awesome.
But yeah.
By the way, folks, I do have a link if you're interested. I think it's the Facebook site that you have for
Mhm.
Baking Beyond that is down
Mhm.
below in the description box. I think. No, it's the Twitter one. You have one on Twitter.
Oh, I do have I Oh, I'm so bad at updating Twitter. It's so bad. I need to get better. I don't Twitter's so toxic that like I don't even have a
You
personal
know
one.
what? Twitter itself isn't toxic. There are groups of people that can make it feel that way. You
Yeah,
just got to
true.
line yourself up with the right bunch of people like
Yeah.
me and a lot of these wonderful people in the chat. Like
Oh
these are
yeah.
good people, right? I
Mhm.
try not to surround myself with dicks, right? So,
Right.
um,
Yeah. Yeah, my Twitter is there. I am not great at updating it. So it's probably the last thing I posted was like July or something. It's so bad. But I do like have orders often. I should probably post on Twitter, but yeah.
let's see what V thinks about Twitter.
Twitter
Twitter
is
is
bae.
bay. They're
I
funny.
mean, you check in when you wake up and you check in right before you go to sleep. It sounds like bae. Like
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, right? If he says you can come hang with him on Twitter, so
Yeah, it's funny that she says bae. My best friend, her and I call each other bae.
aw.
And actually, whenever I first like deconverted, I didn't tell anyone, right, other than my boyfriend. Um, but my best friend, like, I eventually told her, and she was like, I was like, I was so nervous to tell you. And she was like, look, all I know is that you're eternally stuck with me. And I was like, that I believe. Like, that I believe. So.
Eternity's a long time.
Mhm.
Like, even
But
the
that's
universe
my
goes, "Well, I ain't gonna be around forever."
right. But she's mine.
Well, there
I
you go.
told my boyfriend, like, "It's Jennifer and then you." Like,
Just a hair above, right?
"Mhm, sorry."
How
Like,
how does he feel about that?
he's okay with it. He's accepted it. Like
That's good.
like, you have to accept it because if not, then, like, sorry.
There's no other option here.
Mhm.
So, you say that you're not officially out as
Mhm.
an atheist. Obviously, meaning people in your direct circle, family-wise, maybe a few
Mhm.
friends. Do you plan to let them know?
If they find out, okay. If I accidentally share something that, like, might be noticeable that I'm an atheist,
Mhm.
okay. I don't plan on like a hey, by the way, I don't believe in God.
Right.
Just because for me, like that is kind of me making it a big deal. That's how I see it at least. And I could be wrong, but I just kind of feel like I am me. I am me regardless. And if you have a problem because of a thing I don't believe in, then that's not my fault. That's not my problem. That's a
No,
you
you're right.
problem and that's
Yeah,
something that you need to work through.
yeah.
And if
Because
it's that big of a deal, then
exactly.
okay.
It's like, do they feel that way about somebody who believes in Hinduism or
Right.
possibly Jainism, right?
Mhm.
Which they probably don't because they have some form of a belief, so they're kind of on the same
So
side
they're
as them,
okay all of
right?
a
Yeah,
sudden.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
But
and I know
non-believers, evil people.
Oh yeah, we're evil.
Well, it's just terrible.
Automatically going to hell.
Terrible. My roommate's actually also a non-believer and is about to fire up the barbecue so we can roast up some babies. So
Right?
it's
Like
terrible. Right?
that's what we do apparently. It's
It's not
it
true, people. Well,
I
at least
know.
not current people here, anyways.
Yeah. It it's one of those things that for me it's not I don't feel like I need to make an announcement. Announcements are
Sure.
like when things are changing in your life, but like I am me and I have been me and nothing the only thing that's changed about me is
It's a
I'm
belief.
better. Like the
Yeah.
lack of belief and then honestly like the things that came with it were learning certain different things, right? Like because and it I think a couple of them might have came before I realized that I didn't believe or have a good reason to believe. But like one of the things that is important to me is like I learned how to put myself first. Like I had always put in other people first. I got to fix this person, I got to fix that person, things like
Hmm.
that. And like it really wears on you. And when I met my boyfriend, we have this agreement that like I come first for me and you come first for you. And if at any point that stops like us going in the same direction, then maybe we need to revisit this relationship. But either way, I have to come first because if I don't come first, then I'm putting myself aside. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's crazy because that's one of the things I learned through conversations with him. Yeah, not real or realizing that I didn't have a reason to believe God was real. Like, yeah, that's one of the things also throughout conversations and like reading the Bible, like throughout those things. But like, there's other things that came with it too. And it's made me, and people can see the difference in who I am now and who I was, and that I'm happier. And
Oh, that's awesome.
it's crazy. So,
I often hear, because I've spoken to, well, clearly I've spoken to lots of people
oh yeah. Yeah, because
about
apparently you're not
this.
officially an atheist if you haven't been on Neil's channel. So I was like,
I
well,
keep
I've got to
hearing
be
this,
on
and I'm like,
Neil's
where the
channel.
hell did that start?
I don't know, but it's a thing now.
Yeah, apparently that's the case. Shit, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Uh, oh, I'm totally. It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! So Tangelo showed up.
Oh, hi, Otangelo. I've talked to him several times because he calls into every show, and call screen for I guess like every show. So
Wait. Tangelo? No, come on. It's got to be a fake account. He's claiming he's an atheist now.
the thing, no,
It's not
no,
Otangelo.
he's being a smart ass.
Uh,
Someone should probably
oh yeah,
just,
you're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
I don't
Get
know.
on it.
I don't have
All 8 gazillion of my moderators.
right. I'm like I'm not moderated on your channel, so I'll just let that let them
Oh,
handle
you're
that.
not? I didn't
No,
make it. Oh no.
no, you're
Well, I'm like Oprah with the wrenches. You get a wrench.
you
You
get a
get a
wrench.
wrench. You get a wrench. Or if you're from England, you get a spanner. You get a spanner.
Oh man.
That's a fake Tangelo? Okay.
V
Clockwork
said,
Rex.
"Go away, Otangelo." Thank you, V. Well, Otangelo clearly is here to tell us that God is real, which he hasn't been able to convince anyone in how many years? Longer than I've even been an atheist. So,
Well, Tangelo starts from the wrong position, anyways. Is atheism true? It's not about true. Atheism is just a matter of belief. It's like, I don't believe in gods. I'm an atheist. That's it. It
yeah, but
addresses
you're
one thing
using too
only.
much logic there. So, what you need to do is what is your fundamental reason? Like, how do you ground yourself in reality if not for God, Neil?
Well, I was, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do it anyways, and there's no God needed.
Right? I don't understand. No one has been able to show me where God is required. Like I'm so confused. And I learn things even by screening calls.
Mhm.
Like I genuinely want you to tell me what you're trying to talk about. I really want to be able to explain to the host where you're coming from. Like
Yeah.
I really, really, really would love some evidence. 100%.
Yeah, that would help. I mean, the whole thing with that, it's like, how do you even demonstrate that there is a deity of any kind?
Well, and I
Without
like
them coming down and saying, "Hi, I'm your god," and then we'd
right.
be like, "Right now, prove it." Oh, there's more coins. You guys can hear them, so just drink when you hear them. I can't. My producer is watching boxing today because it's buddy got they pay per view, so
Yeah.
I don't have a producer, and so yeah. Just when you hear the coins, go ahead and drink, and I don't have to put up the hashtag coins. But like it's a tough one.
Yeah, I like the way Shannon puts it too. Like, I mean, that she explains that like she hasn't ever heard what is the word she uses? She hasn't ever heard like a I don't know, I'm butchering it, but basically like there's not a reasonable definition of a god for us to even talk about, if that makes sense. I'm
Right.
probably completely butchering her point there, but this is why she does shows and I don't. I do the behind the scenes thing cuz I can't talk.
That's okay. What was okay? Talking about you being a call screener.
Mhm.
I want to hear a couple of the craziest people have called in that tried to get
Oh,
on.
there was one a couple weeks ago, on, Truth Wanted.
Hmm.
So, I don't really there was nothing super crazy about that specific call, but the crazy part was he was calling from the Netherlands, but trying to say he was calling from Utah, which is fine because, like, sometimes web calls do that. But then called back from the same IP address, trying to have a different conversation with a different name. And it's like, I'm not stupid either, y'all. Like, I know I'm not a host, but like, I'm not stupid. I can still like hear your voice, you know?
Right.
Like, but um I'm so sorry. Can I step away for just a quick second? I have to run to the restroom.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll be right
Bio
back.
break. Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, yeah. Of course, you can go into a bio break. I can only imagine being a call screener for these kinds of shows where you're um, taking calls from people that are believers and some of the wackiest shit you guys have had to deal with. Of course, I'm just speaking out in general because Kaitlyn's not with us at the moment, but yeah, I can imagine some of the crazy shithouse rat stuff that has been attempted to get on the show, especially people like our favorites, like Otangelo or like Darth Dawkins. Who everybody seems to. However, Dawkins has a script that he loves to stick on, and if you can't get him off the script, then he just talks over you, and there's no point in even trying to communicate with somebody like that. And then blames you for not letting them talk when you talk over them. Finally, it's amazing. That guy just pisses me off. That's all I can say.
I'm so
Welcome
sorry.
back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Oh, that's okay. It's all right. I was able to fill the gap, kind of
I
thing,
was like, my nerves are getting the
without
best of
God.
me, and I've had a drink to calm down. So,
Yeah. I was just talking about some of the folks that have been callers into these shows, like Darth Dawkins and
oh,
Otangelo, and how shitstorms they are trying to talk with them. You
yeah,
just can't do it.
Otangelo mentioned Robin and him calling, like, I guess recently he called into SG. I wasn't screening for that episode. Like, I told Eric and V, like, and they are so great, both of them. But I was like, I just need a mental day, like, and it was so great. I need to start scheduling those more often for myself. Um, but I took a mental break, so I wasn't there that day. But he's called in before and like been nice to me. Like, they're not mean, but you can tell in the tone of their voice whenever a caller is going to be an asshole. Like, you can, it's crazy. Like,
A learned
not
skill, sounds like.
not all the time, but like a lot of time you can hear in their voice when they're an asshole. Like, there's sometimes that I'll like be like, "Hey guys, whoever I'm screening for, like, hey guys, by the way, this person might be an asshole. Like, just be ready to mute in case they start spewing bullshit."
Yeah. And you get that option too, because you guys have a little bit of a delay, don't you? So
Yeah, a
you
little
can
bit
mute
of a
that.
delay. Sometimes they get by without like that one caller who did the same thing on SG that they have on other shows, but they freaking just have a whole 40-minute long conversation And then at the very end, they want to spout bullshit. And it's like, why did you waste 40 minutes of having a real, what sounded like honest conversation to just spit out some random phrase over and over and over? Like,
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't understand.
I don't understand that kind of thought pattern at the best of times, anyways.
Right. Like,
Yeah, it's like, what?
mhm.
Oh, skeptic generation. We
We
missed you
missed you
last
last week.
week.
I love Eric and V so much.
Oh, they're
So
awesome
much.
people.
Makes me want to cry whenever they're like
I
doing
just,
stuff like showing up here and stuff like that. It makes me want to cry.
well, I've met Eric. I've not met V in person. Of course,
Mhm.
virtually, I've met them,
Right.
obviously, but um, to they often say you don't want to meet your heroes. Not that I have hero worship of anyone
Mhm.
really in the community,
Right.
but there's people that I definitely respect, and the way they are as people,
Mhm.
right? And to get to meet Eric in person, just hang with him.
Mhm.
He's an awesome guy. Like I'm proud and honored to call him a friend,
Oh
basically.
yeah, my boyfriend has met him, and I don't think Eric knows that. My boyfriend met him before I even like me and my boyfriend were even dating. He met Eric, and like he has a Talk Heathen mug, like, and I
Yeah, yeah.
think that it has Eric's signature on it. I don't remember whose signatures are all on it, but yeah, it's he. We're huge fans, and getting to work with them is crazy. The only reason I'm even in the community though is Ethan. Like, because and Ethan
Ethan's
took a
good people.
gamble on me. I told him, I was like, "You gambled. Like, you just trusted me." And he was like, "I had good reason to believe." And I'm like, "Did you though? Like, what was your evidence?" Like, I haven't been an asshole in chat yet. Like, is that your evidence? I don't know, but Ethan trusted me and I'm so grateful. And when he did, and now I just like tell people what to do to try to make it less work on Ethan and Eric and V and Dave now. I mean,
I
it's
was just gonna say, where's that slacker Ethan? And
there
there we go.
he is. I had a good feeling.
Yeah, I had Ethan on quite a while back.
Mhm.
I think he said at one time that I was one of the first shows he was able to pop onto. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
he's one of the people that I admire the most in the community. Him, Eric V,
he
Dave,
works
those
hard.
are.
They all work
And
hard.
oh, it's crazy how hard he works. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, and they got really good content, all of them, and I don't know. They're amazing folks, and I really shouldn't be. I had an itch, and it was where the cat scratched me, and I think I just irritated it. And I'm on blood thinners right now, so
Oh no.
if I look like a blood fountain in a few minutes, you know why.
I'm like if you need to go.
Well, it's almost Halloween, so no,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, no,
true.
no. The blood spatter across the no, no. I'm covered. I'm good.
Just
I'm
call
good.
it Halloween effect then. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. See, I'm sad. I'm really sad because I don't know if I'm going to make Faithless Forum this year.
I don't think I'm going to, and I'm really sad about it.
I mean, it's not a case of being able to afford it because I can do that. Well,
Mhm. Oh
well,
yeah.
actually, I'm in a bit of a hole. I see. Recently, I had a friend that was living in a very bad situation. She was being abused, and
Oh,
I forked myself and a few other people forked up each probably about $1,200 each to get her
wow.
out of this place
Mhm.
and into a safe location
Mhm.
where that she was away, and to make sure that her first 3 months rent were covered until she got back on her feet and a job, which she is now, by the way.
Awesome.
Right. And she's like, "Oh, I'll pay you guys back." And we're like, you know what? That doesn't fucking matter. You're safe. And we care about that more than we
Right.
care about seeing that money again. So my finances kind of dropped. Right. And I'm also trying to save
Mhm.
up for a new vehicle, trade in my old one and get another vehicle.
Right.
And but the thing that's keeping me mostly is um, the deep vein thrombosis, which is the blood clot. So I can't fly.
Oh.
Right. So I would have to go
Yeah.
by train or something, which takes days.
Which from Canada to Texas, and it's like further south than me even, where Faithless Forum is.
So I don't know what this means.
Why don't you have a styptic handy?
What the hell is it?
I don't know what that is. Student Dr. Ben is in the chat. Does Student Dr. Ben know? Because I have no clue.
True. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not to mention her name or anything like that. She make it public.
I don't blame you.
3 of us were able to get together and make sure her first 3 months rent were covered. So it set me back a little bit, but I could probably pull up a GoFundMe and get that money back just to make the trip, because I'm sure there's lots of folks that would chip in a little bit, right? But,
I would chip in for that. I mean, it's not something I can do, but yeah, it's Faithless Forum is not something I'm going to be able to make, I think, because of plans I already had made, which it sucks. A styptic.
Something to use to stop the bleeding. Well, yeah. I'm supposed to be a speaker.
Oh wow.
Like Thomas and everyone involved asked me to be a speaker for this one, which I was honored and shocked, to be honest, but honored, because I could get up there and talk about all the different stories that I've heard, like yours and the lots of other folks. I really want to be there, but I go see a hematologist on the 22nd, a couple days after my birthday, and I'll talk to her about this. I'll probably get checked again to see if the clot's still there, because the swelling has gone down completely. My legs look identical now. So, and I wear the socks, the socks that what are they called? The
high pressure ones or whatever.
Yeah, constricting socks.
Oh yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, if she says that it's okay, the clot's gone, you're good, then I can probably fly. Now I've got compression socks. Thank you, Eric. I've got
those
a credit for my flights tickets from when I was supposed to go down before COVID hit.
Right.
So I've got some of that partially paid for, but I also have one that actually apparently Air Canada, which is one of the airlines here, they already put the money back onto the credit card that doesn't exist anymore. So I got to get in touch with them
to actually get the money back to a different spot. Yeah.
Because my card got hacked, so to speak, and somebody tried to buy a $50,000 diamond ring in Florida. Go ahead. Hey, thanks, Florida man. But anyway.
That's okay. Someone tried to take out a loan in my name and had money deposited into my bank account in April. And I'm like, on my birthday. And I'm like, thanks for the free money, but no thanks. Like, there's interest involved. And then someone tried to apply for unemployment in my name, and I'm fully employed. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of fraud and stuff going on. But I would pitch in for you to get to Faithless Forum, because that would be awesome. I won't be able to. I mean, I made plans several months ago before I even knew when it was. If I would have known, because I mean, Kristen's going. So if I would have known that, I would have found a way. But
you know what? Yeah, I hear you. Kristen wants, she's like, you're one of the few people I'm going to get a hug from. I'm like, okay, well.
Oh, she's
awesome.
I love her. I do. She's amazing. She has become someone that I reach out to when I'm in my feels. If I'm having a rough day, she is someone who's there. So she's amazing.
Here's some public service announcement from my very good friend J.R. Cleet. Never wear a compression sock on your head when robbing a bank.
Okay, well, I'll make a mental note. Also, it might not be a good idea to rob a bank. But
oh well, just let me take that off my to-do list.
Right. But yeah, I'm going to a concert. I'm going to see Hailstorm and Evanescence play together.
I saw that on your Facebook profile. So
I've already bought the tickets. That was $200. I'm not backing out.
Just be safe. Just be safe.
That's 100%. Yeah. But yeah.
So before we wrap this up, because we could probably wrap up and get into an after party before it gets too late going on here.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk forever, or I could talk there.
Oh, totally. I get it. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more at ease and not as nervous, because I've been told I
Yeah.
have a pretty good at making people feel calm and relaxed.
Oh
So.
yeah. That and it the nerves of being, like, on a live stream is
Mhm.
what was getting to me, but because I don't do this, I don't do the on-screen stuff. I just sit behind like,
Right.
either a non-existent camera normally or, like, whatever, and don't do anything that's, like, being broadcast to YouTube, while other people are doing this stuff that's, like, the nerve-wracking stuff, you
well,
know?
th- well
So,
then,
once I got over
I owe you a huge hug for doing this then. So
that. Well, Kyle did it, and when Kyle did it, I was like, "I'm gonna reach out to Neil. Kyle just inspired me, like, that he's amazing."
Kyle's awesome.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's a great guy. But and hint hint to Quiet Gorilla, I'd like you to be in the chat or the after party tonight if it's possible, because I have questions I need to talk to him about. Anyways, but anyway, all that there. Before we head out, what I want to know is if you could give someone that, like yourself, fairly recently was having some doubts, or has come, people that are like, shit, do I still believe? Like, what is some advice that you would give someone like that?
I think the best advice that anyone can get in that is don't be afraid to question anything. Question everything. How do you know anything
Why?
is true? Right? How do you know anything is true? I mean, eh, you really have to first of all look at what your previous beliefs were. I mean, when I started reading the Bible, like people joke and say like reading the Bible will make you atheist. When I say like I barely got through like not even half of Leviticus and I was done. Like
Oh yeah,
it's bad.
Leviticus, Deuteronomy. There's a
I
lot of
didn't get
horrific shit.
past Leviticus cuz I didn't care anymore. I was like this is all bullshit anyway. Like I got through Exodus like cuz I was talking shit the whole time, but like I got through Exodus. And then I got after Exodus, I got like maybe 2 chapters through Leviticus and I was done. Like there's no reason. But the real advice though is read it. Read whatever it is you believe is true. Read it with a skeptical lens.
Yes,
Read it to see is there a reason to believe it's true? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. We're
exactly.
looking for truth. We're not looking to say like you're wrong. I'm not trying to say your God doesn't exist. I'm just trying to say, "Hey, can you
Well,
tell me? Can you prove it?" I mean, I don't think he does, but I'm not gonna go into
I'm
it
pretty
with
sure he
that.
doesn't.
I'm pretty sure too, but like, I mean, just out of honesty, like I've got to leave that little bit of room. That little bit of room for it to be
Sure,
true. I've
sure.
got to leave for honesty, like because at the end of the day, I'm down for whatever's true. You just got to show me it's true, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, I always say, well, I'm 99.999 bar percent sure, which basically
right.
is 99.9, and the nines go on forever. So
Right.
it's that close to being
Oh, I was gonna be a math major
100%.
originally, so yeah, I know I understand the bar.
Lee was a black hat ex-Orthodox Jew. I'm an ex-Jew myself, Lee.
Mm.
No, you weren't in Mea Shearim, were you? Mea Shearim is like where the Orthodox Jews live. And if
Mhm,
what happened to me, I was walking through there on a Shabbat, which is the
mhm.
Friday night, and was having a cigarette walking through there, and they were throwing rock. They actually literally keep little pails of rocks on their balconies. So if they see
Wow.
somebody breaking the Shabbat laws, they throw rocks at you, and you can buy
What?
T-shirts. Yeah, they do. You can buy T-shirts in Jerusalem in the Shuk, which is the little Arab market that they have there. It says, "I got stoned in Mea Shearim." I had one of those shirts because I got stoned in Mea Shearim.
Wow.
Lee, I'd love to have you on the show one day. If you're an ex-Jew like me, it's always fun to have ex-Jews because we
Mhm.
can talk shop a little bit, So with Hanukkah coming up soon, and yeah. That'd be great. Lee, if you're on Twitter, I'm at 604 Atheist. But to them, I'm unrecognizable now. Oh, yeah. See? Yeah, that's horrifying. And that's the stuff about these stories that really, really bothers me is the disowning and and suddenly you're not a family member or even a
Mhm.
real person to them anymore.
And
But
if that happens to me, I'm mentally preparing myself for
yeah,
if that happens.
yeah.
But
You
I don't
know, Kaitlyn,
I don't
you've
know.
got a cushion load of people here that have got your back. You know that. We'll all be here to help you.
Yeah. They've shown me that over and over. So as Ethan would say, I had a reasonable belief.
All right, Lee, I'll try to find you because I think that'd be great to have. I'm always looking for.
As many atheists as we can get.
Yeah, or just ex-Jews because
Well, that too, yeah.
I'm an ex-Jew, right? So we could talk about
Mhm.
Hebrew school and bar mitzvah because my bar mitzvah was hysterical, man. When I did my Haftorah portion, I was going through puberty clearly because you're at 13 is when you have these, right? So
Mhm.
that's like prime puberty age, right? So I'm
Right.
trying to sing my Haftorah and my voice is cracking and the whole place is cracking up at me. It was more like a comedy routine than an actual bar mitzvah, but it was a lot of fun though. Anyway, it was shortly after that when I lived in Israel for a couple of years is when I actually basically started coming out of my beliefs, out of the
Mm.
Jewish beliefs. Then I dabbled in the polytheism, I dabbled in paganism, I dabbled in
Right.
Wicca, and of all, and I still wear this because it's kind of a tribute to those old days. The little
Oh, yeah.
the star, right? So,
Mhm.
and I still have my mezuzah that you wear that my mom bought me.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to throw that away, but I can't wear gold. Gold reacts on my skin. Kind of sucks.
Mhm.
Well, what do you say we get out of here early and let's get the after party going and we'll have some more folks
Yeah.
in and
Mhm.
we can chat a little bit more.
Okay, perfect.
But Kaitlyn, thank you for being my guest
Thank
tonight.
you.
Great to
Thank
actually
you.
chat with you
I
too.
know. We've sort of met, not really met, but talked.
Yes, we have. And so it pleases me very much that I got to actually have you on the show and you actually agreed to come on
Thank you so
and
much.
hang out with me. It was a pleasure having you on. Also, hang on, let me get all this stuff ready to go here. First and foremost, my patrons, you guys are awesome, and I'm like I've passed 20 patrons now, which blows me away. Everything you guys do for the show helps me hugely, so I
That's
appreciate you
awesome.
all. Know that you're hang on, actually I think here, let's do this. I think, where did I put it now? There we go. Let's do this right now. There we go. The Patreon supporters right there.
Nice.
Lots of people have been helping out the show, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Also, thanks to everyone in the chats over on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys are interested in jumping in here with Kaitlyn and myself and some other amazing folks, just send me a message through Twitter or Facebook, or you can hit me up through email. My email is below in the description box. So, and I can get you a link and you can jump in for a little bit. I'm warning you though, Kaitlyn's pretty popular. So there's going to be probably a waiting list to get into this thing.
I
So.
wasn't even expecting some of the people who want to join, so I'm hashtag blessed.
Exactly. Well, all right. Hang on here. Let me just kind of fix that up. There we go. That was all the patrons. More plugs. Okay. And a quick reminder that Randolph Richardson and myself are starting our own call-in show called True North Talk. There's another coins for you. So if you want to learn more about the show, you can head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca. Hey, you want to be a call screener, Kayla?
I was gonna say, do you need help? I
Well, we'll
mean,
see
my
what happens.
calendar's getting full, but hit me up.
Well, the place is almost finished being built. You can head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca to learn more about it. It'll give you a link to the YouTube channel so you can sub and not miss our launch date. Also, myself and some other fantastic people are involved in the revamped, relaunched nonprofit show, which is an ACA product that airs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience
I
on
hear that that's
Sundays
the
at 3 p.m.
flagship show of the ACA.
I believe it was,
That's what I
yes, with
hear.
Jeff
Mhm.
D and Russell and Brain Fart.
I honestly just
Oh,
I know that it's the flagship show is
it
what
was,
Johnny
yeah.
has trained me to say.
But anyways, you can head over there and subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm going to be
Yep.
involved in the Halloween episode, which is going to be a hoot.
Ooh.
Yes. Also, the last Saturday of every month, well, usually it's last Saturday of every month. We actually did it today because it was the first time all of us could get back together again, called Atheist Drinking Out Loud. It's over on the Laughing in Disbelief channel. And you never know when we might come and knocking on your DMs and message boxes to say, hey, you want to be our guest for this episode? As long as you like to have a drink or two and make fun of some funny stuff and just talk insane amounts of humor, then yeah. What the hell? I think I just turned on my fan with my foot. Oh, there, I just turned it off, so we're good.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently I have talents I didn't know I had. Anyways, head over to Laughing into Disbelief. Give him a sub. Andy's got a lot of really funny stuff. He also is writes on Patreon. He's got a little blog and stuff over there. And it's myself, Andy, and Seamus. Seamus from the Free Thought Prophets, who does his show over there with John. Yeah, it's all good stuff. Anyways, head over there, give it a sub, and you can actually watch the episode we did today where my very good friend, Jonathan Fuller, also known as Dishonest Ape, was our guest today. And yeah, he had a few. So I can only have 2 at most because of my blood thinners. So yeah, anyway. But that's about it, guys. But anyways, like I always say at the end of these interviews, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we will see you guys next time.